Greetings, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. We're on the San Bernardino line out near San Bernardino in the maintenance facility, and we're going to learn how to set up and drive the Metrolink F125. Let's get on with it, shall we? Come around here and find the door spot, then find the climb up spot, get nice and close. It's just above the footplate of the door there. Come inside, try and shut the door without hitting ourselves in the face with it, because it's a big heavy one. We want to turn on our number board lights and our step lights. Everything else on that panel is fine. We check the head end power. You can see that both HEP units are on, so we will have lighting in the carriages, which is absolutely amazing. I'm going to turn on our alerter, which is the only functional safety system, but if you want the maximum points, you also turn on PTC and ATS. Neither of those things is actually implemented on this route, but you know, it helps with points. Got to get more points. Points are important. You can open windows. And we can set our headlights. Bright and aux is correct. We want to put our generator field on. We've already got engine run and fuel pump on, which is all correct. Contact dispatcher is over here on the telephone. Alright, next up we put our reverse handle in and put that to forwards. And we now want to start setting up our brakes. So I'm going to apply the independent brake fully, and then I'm going to put our brake modes into passenger, and I'm going to release them. And we can see over here on the two left hand that our brake pipe is pumping up to 110, and just did. Our equalizing reservoir is already up there, and our main res is charging up. So now brake cylinder is holding 50 pounds at the moment because we have the independent brakes on. Weirdly, it says we're making some tractive effort. That's because my rail driver was actually not notched back to 0. Naughty rail driver. That's okay. Now this thing's a little bit bright for my liking. Let's make it just a little bit dimmer. About there, probably do the job. Alright, let's get out of the screen. Now I want to test the brakes, so I'm going to do a small application. We can see we've dropped down from 110 to 103, that's fine, that's working. About halfway application, we've dropped down to 96 in the brake pipe, and a suppression application down to 93, good. What about a full service? Down to about 84, which is also fine. Right, last test. Actually, we'll release the brakes. Make sure they go back up. And they are. So let's do the last test, which is to dump the air in emergencies. We go all the way over to emergency, and it's dumping the brake pipe down to 0 or near 0. Should actually get all the way to 0, but never know. Alright, now to fix that, we bring it back to the suppression position, and we bring our reverser back into neutral. And that will start pumping up, or should. And we should be able to release the brakes now. There we go. And we can see our brake pipe has gone back to 110, equalizing 110. Main's on its way back up to nearly 140, which is what we want. Alright, it's time to move. We have got the independent brake fully applied, so horn for a bit of warning for people. And we'll pop it up to notch 2 to get moving. We can see that the system is powering up because we're getting a tractive effort of 6 kilopounds. And it's just over 6 on the graph as well, so we can release the independent brake now. You can't power, excuse me, you can't power when you've got the train brake on, but you can power when the independent brake is on. So it's 10 mile an hour in here, so let's just drop that back to probably P1, I think. So notch 1, thank you rail driver. Rail driver's a bit finicky today, usually is. Now we've got safety systems turned on, so I'm not going to touch the controls anymore, but I'll show you a few things. We've got visors. We do have wipers around somewhere. Down here, there we go, windshield wipers and cab heater and things like that. Got the horn sequencer over here. If you're going fast enough, it'll play the 14L for you. Horn button and bell button there. We'll go through those in a moment and show you how they work. Here comes the alerter. I'm going to reset that with the Q key, or you can use B or circle on your controller depending on your flavour. Now we're running out here in the yard. We are speeding a little bit, but I don't want to touch the controls because I want the alerter to go off again so that you can see it stop the train, and I'll show you how to recover from that. Should happen pretty soon, probably as we start approaching this signal that's at caution up here. I treat the signalling fairly simply of it's either go or caution stop. Here comes the alerter, and it's going to stop the train in a moment. You'll see it put the brakes on. There it goes. It's dumping the air, just like an emergency application. So we put the master controller back to idle, reverse it to neutral, we apply the brake in the suppression position, acknowledge the alerter, and let's apply a independent brake. Back into forwards, release the train brake. We should see that pumping up. We do. As the main reservoir starts coming up, we will apply some power. Just watching this gauge over here on the left of this screen. I want to see the main start coming up as it charges up the rest of the train. We can probably start applying some power now because it's still coming off at the back of the train, but we'll probably get away with it. So back into forwards. Let's take 2 notches. See the power starting to come on, and we will release the brakes, and you notice the main has gotten back up to its high 30s. Should be a little bit more than that, but it'll get there. And turn off the crazy bell. We continue our journey into San Bernardino. So now you know how to drive that bit, you know how to reset from an emergency brake, and you know how to reset from a safety system, induced emergency brake. Not sure whether the sequencer will work at this slow speed. We'll try. No, we're going too slow, so we'll have to do it. Long. Long. Short. And a long. That starts and runs all the way through the crossing. And then you can turn off the bell again. We're allowed to accelerate here, so we will. As we make our way across this little chasm here over the bridge, heading into San Bernardino downtown. Now, that means we're going to run through San Bernardino station, so I have to try and remember not to stop there. Can we avoid a gratuitous bridge shot? No! Alright, now I know we're coming to a 25 limit, so I'm actually going to start throttling down. Also got another crossing. Does the horn sequence work at this speed? No. You have to be going over a certain speed. I think it's 25 and we weren't quite there. Americans do love their train horns. I used to live not very terribly far from a train line, and you could hear them day and night. I think the horn sequencer just decided that we were going fast enough and it would go off. Very good. Let's turn that off. Coming up on a caution signal as we come in here. We need a little bit of power because we are going uphill. It's interesting that the horn sequencer just decided to work then. That's perfect. Great. We'll ignore that. It's at this point I should disclose that this is an early build, and what you get on release may be different. Or the same. Alright, we're coming into the platform. Some railroads would have you honk the horn as you're coming through the platform. Others have you ring the bell. I have to confess, I'm not actually sure what San Bernardino does. We are going downhill, so I'm just changed into setup. Leave that for a few seconds. And now we can start using the dynamic brakes to bring our speed under control a little bit. Cut the bell off because we're at the end of the platform now. You would hope no one would walk into the side of a train. Of course, it's always possible. And you can see the dynamics are quite happily bringing our speed down. It's much easier and quicker to use the dynamic brakes than it is to use the air brakes. It works well on passenger trains. It will work anywhere between about 8 mile an hour and about 30 mile an hour quite effectively. Outside those speeds, it's not as effective. It will actually do work, but it's not quite as effective. You may need to use the air brakes in those situations. Getting into a steeper gradient again as we come into San Bernardino downtown. It is a dead-end station, you don't want to come flying in there totally out of control. Quickest 14-hour lever. Yeah, alright, I forgot. In Australia, you'd be lucky if the train driver goes... Get a little bop. That's about it. Most countries in the world, they don't blow the horn at all. And oddly enough, they have less level crossing incidents than they do in America, where they blow like crazy. We are coming into the San Bernardino downtown platform. There's another train heading out. I'm leaving the bell on because we've got a pedestrian crossing here and the platform itself. He's raced up to the signal that will be only just clearing now because our bum end is starting to come in past it. While you can use dynamic brakes to stop your train, I wouldn't go relying on it if I were you, because sometimes it won't. So I'll be applying some air in a moment. We are getting down below 8 mile an hour anyway, so I will just knock the dynamics back to idle. As we crawl up to our stopping position, the stopping positions are quite finicky on this route, because you have to fit inside the signal block. So do what it says. Not quite there yet. Alright, we'll go for a suppression brake. Should be enough to stop here because it's not much of a grade. There we go. Now I'm going to go back into here because I want to show you how to shut down to change ends. Return to free roam. Let's stop the bell for a start. And we'll take the brake all the way up to the handle off position, which is just before emergency. Be careful. And then we shall switch our brake back to test mode. We'll close our window so no one climbs into the cab while we're not watching. Reverse it to neutral and remove. Headlights change to off. We'll find our marker lights in just a moment. Sorry, not fuel pump. Generator field off. Fuel pump would stop the engine. So that's about it for here, except for our marker lights, which I believe are on the back wall over here somewhere. There they are. Actually, marker lights. Oops, not dynamic brake cutout. Marker lights. That's what we want. Marker lights front. Now, what side was the platform on? I forgot. That side? There it is. Alright, open the door. There's no need to turn the safety systems off. Make sure you climb down so you don't lose points for jumping out in an unsafe way. Get far enough away. The door prompt point is up there. Let's just make sure our marker lights are on. They are. There's the bloke that would climb through the window if you let him. And right now we would head up the other end of the train to the rail car up here so that we can go and set that up. Won't actually do that because we're doing that in another video. But there you go. That's it. We have set up, tested, and driven the F125 on San Bernardino. Now we take it back using a cab car. Alright, if this has been helpful for you, give it a thumbs up, please, and subscribe. And if you've got any questions or comments, chuck them down below and I'll see what I can do to help you out. Alrighty, have fun folks. See you later. Bye.
We played a game.